Welcome to Mic'd and Medicated. It's been quite a week.
It's been like quite a 2 weeks, I would say, maybe even 3 weeks of just nonstop running around, recitals, graduations, trophies. We talked about it all, June gloom episode. And then I just kind of, now that I can actually sit while my kids are at their 18th camp before real camp starts, where's my fucking trophy?
Great question, Caroline. I feel like hearing you say 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I feel like it's been a crazy school year.
I know. I really, you know what? It's like all of these celebrations. I get it. Like our kids, it's for the kids, but like where are our celebrations? Like we are the ones who are scheduling the piano the piano teachers, the tutors, the dance classes, right? I mean, maybe I'm not paying for it, but I'm making sure that it gets paid for.
But here's the thing. To have a celebration, you need someone to organize the celebration. So I think unless we organize a celebration for ourselves, no one else is thinking about that. And it sort of drives home the point that being a mom can feel like a thankless job because we are always thinking about everyone else. And we are making sure, as you said, that the kids are having this, full life with everything they need, and that our husbands are supported and can go to the office and do what they need to do. And what's really funny is I worked for the first 30 years that Doug and I were married, and we had a real partnership. But even then, emotionally,
It all fell on you.
it all fell on me. Like, I don't really get why, but I think no matter what the working dynamic is, the mother carries the mental load. And I would say, additionally, since I stopped working in a conventional, go to the office 5 days a week job, I've noticed a shift.
Ooh, so what you felt was a little bit 50-50 because you were sort of bringing some bacon home too, kosher bacon. Um, so do you feel that when you stopped working, Doug just said, okay, you're now going to be getting facials and working out all day, so you deal with the kids and everything? Versus like sharing the responsibility?
I think Doug, even though he is so wonderfully appreciative and he says, thank your mother, and he holds me on a pedestal, I still think he envisions that my days are really relaxed and luxurious now that I'm not also putting on a suit and going to the office every day.
I think 100%. I think no matter how many times my husband says, oh, I know your job is hard, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, his job is somehow more stressful. And I get it. He is paying for, as he says, the party that we call life. But you know what? There are so many things that I invisibly do that I literally think he thinks an elf takes his dry cleaning from, his bin to his hangers, or his, suitcase from traveling for work is magically unpacked. Like, I don't think he realizes all of the moving pieces. Like, he just sees money signs.
But what's so interesting, because I did work all those years, Doug never had somebody who could support him that fully. But the week after I stopped working, I remember there was a pile of shirts on the floor in his closet, and he very casually said, oh, can you take those to the dry cleaning for me?
Wait, he had never said that before?
No, because again, it was so different because I worked, and I must say, because we spend a lot of time together, if you haven't had the orientation of both working, I do think it's almost like having another child. Like, I feel like I have 4 children emotionally, and sometimes I'm like, who is taking care of my emotional well-being? Like, who is worrying about my emotional well-being? However, from a practical perspective, I think you do so much more than I ever did. Although I admit that even though it shouldn't feel this way, I feel like I need to step up that side because I'm not working in a 9-to-5 traditional job anymore. So I'm trying to do more, like even something like mundane, like the dishes. Doug always did the dishes, every night. It's just he doesn't like to go to bed with dishes in the sink, and I don't care. So Sucks
always
for
one of
him.
them,
He
yeah.
ends up doing it. However, once I stopped I'll put working in quotes. Once I stopped being,
A corporate
out of the
job,
home
right.
worker, I noticed like the dishes really weren't getting done and I had to do them. So I started doing all the dishes. And then it was like kind of this like passive aggressive thing where I just decided one day, like, we're going to play chicken and I'm just not going to do the dishes because why all of a sudden is that my responsibility? But then I second guessed myself and thought, like, I guess because I'm home, but what they don't realize is like, I'm home, but I'm not like sitting on the couch watching Oprah reruns eating bonbons. I'm actually
I know.
running around like a chicken with my head cut off.
It's actually worse probably than being in an office.
I can tell you, having done both, it is much harder because you are left to structure it yourself and you don't have employees that like have to follow a certain decorum and have to behave a certain way and have to do what you say.
Right.
It's much more challenging because children don't conform the way your team at work does.
Children don't give a fuck. I mean, look,
and that's the other part of it. Like we're saying, like, who's going to throw us the party? Who's going to care about us? Like, I happen to think that shouldn't be children's jobs to like be appreciative and like make their parents feel better.
No, it's my husband's job. Sorry, but it is.
Bingo.
Yep. Oh, Eva was trying to get there. Yeah, it's my husband's job. And you know what? It is first of all, I really don't like that Doug was making you do the dishes. And I just want to say, Doug, I'm very proud that because now Eva is a work from home wife, she hired an organizer to redo the shitty job you did in her kitchen. Okay. So
okay.
We love you, Doug, but you know what? I'm really proud of her for learning how to outsource a little bit.
And can I just say, it's so funny because I did do that. So thank you, Caroline. I appreciate that. And I could see Doug was a little fatutzed about the whole thing.
Look at you
and
with the Yiddish.
After part one of the organizing, we were getting ready for dinner and he's like, where are the placemats? Like, I don't know where anything is. And I was like, oh, we put them under the banquette. Like, that's so convenient because then you flip it up and set the table. And he's like, what? Like, I could just tell he was
passive aggressive.
He didn't want to say, he was annoyed. And then we finished and there was part of the kitchen that's not really the kitchen. That's a closet off of the kitchen that she also included in the work. And that had a lot of, I'd say, like Doug stuff, tools, cleaning supplies, Goo Gone. I mean, all kinds of weird things that Doug likes.
Like a wood shop
picture
closet.
hangers. Yeah. And so there happened to be a stack at least 12 inches high of manuals. And Doug is I
can't read a manual.
I don't know how to read. Like when I look at a manual, it's like I don't read English.
No, literally, it's like all in Chinese somehow. Totally. Even though like the first 5 pages are English.
Like I can't tell which page is actually in Chinese or Spanish or English because it's all
the font
foreign.
is like beyond. It's like I don't even know who could read that. Who could fucking read that? So, I need a manual to read the manual. I just
want you to know. She's like, what do I do with all of these? And I was like, ugh, I don't know. Like Doug really likes manuals. And I was like, I don't know. We're going to throw a bunch out. And like, I started to get, she said to me, everything's online now. And I said, okay.
Agreed.
Like, so some were easy. Like we don't have a car seat anymore. So chuck that one. And so then I just started getting really happy because when it's very
exhilarating when you throw shit out.
So I started throwing them out. And then I said to her, I can't throw them all out because Doug will notice. I just feel like at some point he'll want to look for a user manual. So I kept a few for our oven and our TV. And so, but it was a very thin pile. And because she's an organizer, they went in a clear box and it said user manuals.
Great.
So literally Doug got home last night. Like she left my house at 4. He got home at 6. And I was like, hi. And he's like, so I see you threw out a lot of my user manual.
No. Most people would be like, thank you so much for throwing out my user manuals, Like, who the fuck reads those? Yeah, Jeremy, actually, this is funny. Jeremy will pretend to read it, and he will follow the directions, sort of, and then he'll be like, oh, we don't need these pieces. I'm like, well, what do you mean? He's like, oh, we don't need that. The first thing he built me was like a cabinet, okay? It literally shook. Always, because he decided it didn't need the 4th leg, So obviously he didn't finish the page, and he was like, "Oh, it's fine. We don't." I'm like, "You don't usually get so many extra pieces.
Exactly.
It's usually like exactly
it's
the
like
right amount.
Legos.
Exactly. It may be like 2 extra screws, and I was like a whole half a bag of stuff. He's like, "We don't need that." I'm like,
by the way,
okay.
I stink at Legos, and I remember when my kids were in a Legos phase. I would always know that they had gone awry when there were like a couple of extra pieces. So that's, yeah,
No,
Jeremy
it
needs to go
was,
back to Legos training.
I mean, it just like, don't pretend. Either just admit you don't read manuals. Like, you don't, it's the same when he drives. He thinks he's Magellan or like Columbus, like discovering new territory. Like, you know what? I'm not going to listen to Waze. I know better. No, you don't.
Oh my
You know,
God.
because it's the same thing with fixing stuff. He's like, I'm going to just do it myself.
But you said he was handy. Like Doug does that.
Handier than me.
Right. It's
What
all
does that
relative.
mean? He's handy with some, undiagnosed ADD. Okay. But better than me, But like, so yeah, I guess, look, if he doesn't have the patience to set up something easy, then obviously he doesn't have the patience to give me attention when I need it.
Right. And I think it's, back to this notion of who's taking care of our emotional well-being. I feel like not only is nobody taking care of us, but we are just by nature like always carrying that mental load and thinking about our kids' needs and our husband's needs. And I feel as if when things are very stressful, I don't necessarily have an outlet, which is, I think, why women, or I shouldn't say that. I have an outlet, but it's always my female friends. Like if I try to use my husband as an outlet, it's like the store is closed. Like
my mom,
we're
actually,
not open for business if you're coming to like stress about what's going on. But then if my husband is stressed, it's like all consuming. I'm very stressed. And I think men, like I've been thinking about this because we were going to talk about this. It's almost like they have a get out of jail free card when they say like work's really stressful. I have a lot going
all
on
the
at
time.
work. Whereas like we can't say that because like there's nowhere to go.
Well, it's also like in their mind, I mean, let's call a spade. We're not paying the bills, even though, I think husbands Jeremy sees me as the bill creator.
The money spender,
not the bill payer.
You're the cost. You're not even a cost center. You're like
I'm just money losing.
You're an expense.
He sees me and I'm a giant Amex bill. That's what it is. Amex bill, just right there. So it's hard to love. Now that I think about it, it's like if the Amex bills are sitting on his shoulder, he's like, I got to pay this, I got to pay that. It's hard to love that. It's like sleeping with the enemy. I'm the enemy.
Well, except for the fact that, like, let's dig into that. The Amex bill is probably paying
communal
for piano lessons, taking a family vacation,
dog walking,
making sure your dog is groomed and smells good, cleaning your carpets after your
dog pissed the whole time. But my husband would be like, well, you didn't train her. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not Cesar Millan. Like, I would have gotten yelled at if I had to like hire a dog trainer. You know what I mean?
I was there yesterday. I love Heidi, but poor Heidi was sick and needed medicine.
I couldn't even do it.
No one could have done that. Cesar Millan couldn't have done that.
That's the thing. I feel like I don't feel understood. Like you are kind of my, now work wife. You're at home. Like you understand like the juggling of everything. Like it's just everything. It's like the dentist appointment. It's like, oh, it's Shabbat. Let me get challah. Let me do this. All the things that I don't know if my husband thinks are extraneous.
I just want to celebrate you for a minute because
I need this, and then I'll celebrate you.
And I think a lot of women can relate to this, and hopefully husbands can learn from this. But I happened to be here yesterday, and I watched you without complaint, without needing any help, put together everything B needed for her recital, make sure she was dressed, make sure her hair was done, make sure the flowers were ordered, make sure the reservation was gotten for dinner.
Which you got me. Thank you.
You sent me a photo of you in your seat, and your father and your husband were sitting a few seats back, and they both looked like they might have been on their phones. But like for them, they just had to show up for enjoying B's recital. Whereas I watched that. There was a lot of preparation that went into making that such a perfect moment.
Thank you. I appreciate that. In addition to the fact that I had to, 2 months ago, submit a photo of her so it would be in the playbill and sign her up for the class and make sure she goes there. But yes,
all of those other things. Exactly. Like the afternoon is just the tip of the iceberg of all the things that you did to get to that point.
And I also see you, like you are never not working, whether you're taking care of your kids. You never take time for yourself. Like you are 2 a.m. I'll get an email from you like that. I mean, you are a machine.
I really do need a mani-pedi. So yes, I agree. I'm taking some time this afternoon because I can't look at myself anymore.
I mean, no, but like it is true. But my mom would say like, if you want to complain, It's like, your husband's not going to get it. You have to have friends for that. You need to marry like a gay husband if he's going to understand your pain. But I guess they're more, I think they're more capable, but maybe they're not. I don't know.
Well, I think that I don't know. In my house, I feel like I have the most emotional bandwidth of anyone. And or maybe that's the wrong way to put it. Everyone has emotional bandwidth, but
You're
like
just
I
like
have
you're the emotional dumping ground. Everyone dumps
right. I
on
was
you.
about to say I'm the emotional punching bag.
Literally, that's what I feel like too. I mean, because your kids feel the most comfortable. Same with mine.
And you want them to feel that way.
But it's
That's the
also
unconditional
exhausting.
love.
It's exhausting.
It's exhausting. Yes. And I also think that I had a woman who I became friendly once a long time ago with, named Wednesday Martin. And some of you listening may know her, but she wrote a book called Primates of Park Avenue.
Oh, juicy.
Very juicy. And in it, she revealed like a shocking practice that was maybe not common, but certainly happening on the Upper East Side, which was called the wife bonus.
Ooh, what is that?
Yes. And she talks about it as something that could be hammered out during the prenup or, as you become more successful in your life. But basically, getting a bonus as the wife at the end of the year that is based in part on how well your husband does, because obviously there's, I guess, the assumption that you've supported that, but also on how well you have done in terms of managing the household, getting your kids into the right schools, getting your kids good
Who's grading
grades.
that?
Well, that's very interesting. And she even goes as far as to say sometimes sexual performance is included in this wife bonus.
What?
This was a while ago. You didn't see this. There was a big article in the New York Post about a woman. I think her name was Polly Phillips, and she was saying, "I can proudly say I get a wife bonus, and I'm excited about my wife bonus." And she was like, "And I
Does it come in June?
maybe
No, I'm
we'd be
curious. Like, I
happier
feel
if
like
we
people
got
get
it
a bonus
June."
in December. Like, when does the wife bonus come out?
I don't know, but she kind of was defending it, saying, "My husband is basically signaling with the wife bonus that he values how much I do. And so I think theirs was more democratic. I think
Yeah,
he
maybe not
got
for
a
like how
fifth
good the
of,
blowjobs are.
right, exactly. I think he got a fifth of the bonus that he earned. She got a fifth and the rest they put into the bank or something. But the point is, like, there's no, like, to your question, who's the judge, who's determining the bonus? Like, there's no way to recognize your achievement or performance as the mom, because like when you work, and I did this for many years, you sit in your boss's office and you go through your year-end review and you get to self-reflect. People around you give input, your boss gives input, and then you're basically given a bonus based on your performance, the team's performance, the company's performance.
Right. It's quantitative. Like,
Right.
It makes sense.
And so I do think it'd be hard, I'm sure, working all those years if I never got feedback on how I was doing. But then, like, the idea that, like, I can tell you, Doug, don't try to give me feedback on how I'm doing.
You're doing a great job.
But you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it would be like, wouldn't you be furious if Jeremy was like, let
Fucking
me tell you
furious.
how you're doing as a parent?
Yes.
Right.
Okay?
But that's also part of why I think it's such a thankless job, because you don't get any feedback, any performance feedback. I guess the feedback is when your kid smiles after the recital and gives you a huge hug and says, "Mommy, I love you." But chances are that is actually really like a meltdown, or I'm starving, or
Look, I think there is, when they get older, I think you can see it more. Like 2 years ago, she wouldn't even go into that dance class without me. I had to sit in every single class for an entire year. So for her to just like, I dropped her off a half an hour before the show to like walk right in was like pretty awesome. So that did feel really great.
But that's also testament to like the job you're doing as a mom, because you have the emotional understanding and you are attuned to your daughter, that clearly there must have been a ton of work that went into getting to this point, because if you don't address it, it wouldn't have changed.
No, I mean, a ton of work. I pat myself on the back, but then this morning she had to go to the dentist and like basically tried to bite the dentist, kicked him in the balls, and like had a panic attack. So like, I don't know, am I winning or losing? That's the problem. It's like, it's so ephemeral. It's like for that 10 minutes, you feel like glorified. And then you're like, fuck. And my husband had to take her to the dentist because I physically cannot restrain her at the dentist because she's psychotic when it comes to that. And I get a text, no more pacifiers. She needs speech pathology. Her jaw's not lined up. I'm like, great, thank you. That's a great. This was all within 12 hours.
But by the way, like, why are you being told that as if like you're getting the F? Like, why is that your responsibility?
I'll be my job. And I go, okay, Jeremy, when you're not traveling, he goes, we'll just take the pacifier, put holes in the pass, and it'll be a rough week. I go, okay, you'll be home for that week. That's what I said.
Isn't he traveling this week?
Yeah, he's traveling all week.
He was suggesting you started this.
Yeah, I started today where I'm, yeah, exactly. He's walking tomorrow for like 500 miles. Like clown. And yeah, he wants me to start it. Yeah.
Yeah, I will say you can't potty train. You can't take away the passy. Like, that's not fair. You got to be in it. You got to be home.
Especially you're going to tell me that.
But here's the thing, like, Jeremy is a good husband in
the fact that dad
you know he's going to be home for that, or you're going to pick a week he's home. Whereas I actually think there are plenty of women, mothers who do those kinds of things alone. And it's like, fuck the husbands who just like think being at work is their only job.
Yes. And I think that's an older approach. I think we now have more higher expectations for our husbands. Like, I think in the 90s, it was a little bit different. It's a little bit more of a divide and conquer. But like, you know what? I'm sorry, but if you're going to give me advice on what to do, then you're going to be part of it.
But what's so kind of fascinating, because I do think that we have evolved, and I do think husbands get paternity leave.
My husband never did that.
Right. Mine didn't either, and I'm so glad.
I mean, I'd be with I agree.
So then are we sending mixed messages?
No, he could have been home for like 4 days. Like I had my son on a Thursday night. And Monday he went to work. He didn't even want to come to the pediatrician appointment like that Monday morning. And great, because he thought, I have a baby nurse. Like, why do I need him? I will never forget the hate that I felt towards him when I was so fucking fat with like boobs that didn't work, emotional guilt, unmedicated for like the 12th month of my life, And I have this like newborn and I don't know what the fuck I'm doing and can't fit into any clothes. I'm wearing Depends. And my husband goes, do you need me at the doctor? I'm like, yes, I do. He puts on a suit, shows up, everything's good, and then he leaves. Like nothing in his life changed in the past weekend. And I thought, I'm going to kill him.
But it's so funny. This is where we're different, because like I had George and it was a C-section. So I spent 3 days in the hospital. And I was like, don't bother sleeping here. Like, sleep at home, get a good night's sleep.
Oh, no. I woke my husband up when the kid wasn't waking up. With B? Did you hear this one? And then, sorry, I will stop interrupting. So when Teddy was born, he was an angel. But B was born, she was fucking devil. Okay? So literally the first night, she just won't go to sleep. And I'm thinking something's wrong with this baby because my other baby never did this.
Right.
And I'm trying to give her a boob with no milk. And I literally wake Jeremy up who's snoring. I'm like, get up. He's like, what? There's nothing. I was like, feed her, help me. He's like, what am I supposed to do?
Right.
I don't know. I'm like, I just commiserate with me. Like, he was so angry. And I was like, what is wrong with you? So he just got a bottle of formula, which I did not want, just shoved it in her mouth and she went right to sleep. But see, maybe that's why I needed him.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, that was not as funny.
No, I think this is real and raw, and like sometimes it's funny and sometimes it's, sad.
It was kind of sad. I'm like, why are you sleeping and annoyed that I'm waking you up when I just like ruined my vagina again? And I have this like crying baby where I'm like, what the fuck? It's hard.
Well, I think it's funny. I tend
you liked being alone.
Yeah, I tend to like retreat in those moments. And so I said to Doug, like, why would you sleep here? Like, you live 2 blocks, like we live 2 blocks away, like get a good night's sleep, come in the morning.
You're so nice.
But I remember he came and then he went to the office. Like each day he would like come see me in the hospital and then go to the office for a couple of hours.
See, at least with me, I'm setting expectation of like, this is prison for you. You are going to be here in pain with me, sleeping on the couch.
No, I mean, I was fine with that. I was kind of like,
Are you?
Honestly, I really was. It's funny. I feel like logistically, it gives me pleasure to be a chicken with my head cut off and do everything myself. It's why I never got a dog walker. It's like somehow I can tend to my children, have a job, walk the dog.
That's impossible.
I understand.
We
But then
never
like
did it that
when
way.
I'm doing it, I feel really good. But then when I like trip and like fall on my face in the middle of the sidewalk and everyone's asking me if I'm okay and I rip my favorite pair of pants and I'm bleeding on my palm. And I'm like, no, I'm fine. I'm just running to the bus stop to get my daughter. And then I realize in those moments I'm doing too much.
Yeah, like that, you're insane. Like, no offense, you're insane. You're like the nuclear family of like you have a husband, a wife, and that's it. And you take care of the family as the mother is a very new concept. Like we lived with in like sort of tribes. Like you lived next to your sister and your mother-in-law, and everybody helped out. It was not do it yourself.
I think that's what's so hard is because I actually think that we are all like, even compared to the suburbs, I think living in Manhattan, it's not like you have a car and you're like, oh, I'll pick up your kids and bring them to soccer,
Yeah,
or
there's no
oh, they can
carpooling.
all come to my house and play in the backyard. It's very independent. Everyone's either like Ubering somewhere or have their driver going somewhere, and everybody's got different schedules and busy schedules. So it can be very lonely as a mom where you're not sort of, I don't know. I feel like my friends who live in the suburban world, they have like much more like functional and emotional community.
Oh, it's interesting. Like I would probably shoot myself if I lived in the suburbs, but I think I feel so less lonely here because even if I'm just picking up or walking, I'm seeing people and I'm around. But I think you're right. The dependence on other people is very hard. You have to pay for people to help you in Manhattan. And that
Yes.
is the difference. And I think, look, some people can figure it out where they both kids go to the same school, like a hill school. They both get on the bus at the same time. They both come home on the bus at the same time. That's great. But if you have kids in single sex schools or different schools, and you are responsible for all of these exactly logistical gymnastics, as you would probably call it. And it is exhausting, which is why June, you're like, fuck, I'm so tired. And my husband does help with certain things, but in the end of the day, it is my job. It all goes on me. And I think, what I'm feeling now is I'm watching my kids be celebrated for finishing a year, and I'm not jealous of them because that would be fucked up. I'm happy for them and their successes are mine. But I need something. I need a hug. I mean, I don't know if it's the fact that like, and I think most people spend time with their spouse in the summer, whether they take a save the marriage trip or their kids go to sleepaway camp. So my husband and I always like every year in July, we go to Capri. We have the best like 8 days of our lives. We don't bring our kids. We remember why we got married. We have fun. And by June, that love tank is fucking empty. Like is flashing lights. It is like, and rather than my husband's brain, he's like, okay, well, let's just go on neutral, and save gas until we can fill it up. And I'm like, no, we need to pull over right now and fill it up. But he can go on neutral. I can't.
I think some of that's temperament, and I think some of that is men and women. There are just some differences, and I sometimes am the woman and I sometimes am the man. But I think that like what you're saying is it's really hard amidst everything else we've just been talking about for June gloom, as well as just generally being a mom of multiple kids and having a life and having a career
and looking hot at the same time.
to also like nurture your marriage. And I think that a marriage, like any relationship, takes work. Like a garden doesn't grow without sunlight and water and pulling the weeds. And I just think like, when is the time for that? Like there's no time for that. Like it is very sad. Like we live in a world where there's so many ways to communicate. And I feel like the prime form of communication for us is like sending each other Google Calendar invites.
Or like memes, like from the toilet.
We don't do memes because Doug's not on social
media.
Okay,
like that's how I know my husband's thinking about me is like a meme. But like you said, the garden word, and I'm like, you know what? Yes, like, and this is the thing is like you have to know that each is a different plant, right? Like I have definitely felt like my husband is a cactus who does not need water. And whether if they get watered once, like in the July Capri trip, it like stays in the leaves and it's like all great. And I am fucking not. And I was kind of Googling like what plant doesn't look like it's dying, but is dying and needs to be like moist all the time. I didn't mean that. That sounded weird.
I'm waiting for what moist plant are you, Caroline?
This is funny. And because I really don't like this place, which is where my husband's from, I'm a Boston fern.
Oh, that's so
Okay.
ironic.
I know it is a house plant that needs its roots to be constantly moist to stay vibrant. Otherwise, it will avoid turning brown.
Get ready, Jeremy.
Oh my God, I'm dead. Yeah, seriously. I mean, I can't. Of course, she took it far. But you know what? Actually, no, I said my husband is a snake plant. He's adaptable. He can tolerate low light and frequent watering. Damn it. And you know what?
Cactus. See, I think I'm
I
like
just
a
need a
little
fucking
like
money
Jeremy.
plant.
I feel like, or the way I think about it is the parenting philosophy that your child is either a dandelion or an orchid, and a dandelion can grow anywhere against all odds. It doesn't matter the environment. It will just come up through the cement and grow and flourish. Whereas a orchid, which is so beautiful, requires more care, more kind of sensitivity to the environment it's in. It needs more sunlight. It needs an ice
I'm an
cube.
orchid.
And parenting an orchid is really hard. And I have orchids and dandelions. But also in a relationship, you have to kind of know who you are, whether you're the cactus or the snake plant or the orchid or
the Boston fern.
or the Boston fern. And I think that I don't know. It's you don't even have the time to figure out who your spouse is. Like that's what it is. I think that if you are evolved, and if, like, for me, I've done a lot of therapy and I care about this stuff. So I am like thinking about and trying to figure out, who are my kids? Who's my husband? How do I like meet them where they are to like produce the best relationship?
Right.
And I'm a big believer that it only takes one. So like relationship dynamics, you can change if you change. You don't need both partners to change.
I know, but I am stubborn. Or he,
But
and he
I
is
understand.
too. Yeah,
but
yeah.
what I'm saying is like, I don't think our husbands think about and are worried about like, what kind of plant is Caroline and how do I operate in a way that I can maximize?
He's the fucking penis.
Maybe that's just it. They're penises. They're dicks.
They're dicks. That's where the expression comes. You're so brilliant. They're fucking dicks. Yeah, then why do they call us pussies? Because we're not pussies.
Maybe
pussy means like you're weak. That is the
by the way, it's totally wrong. Haven't you ever heard this? Like,
a dick should be weak.
You're
what a dick. You're a loser.
They're flaccid dicks.
Yeah. I mean, come on. A pussy's amazing. Yeah. Now, I mean, like, we're strong. We push a kid out of it. I don't want them. But like, you know what I mean?
Right. So maybe, I mean, I don't know. I think vaginas are amazing and strong because we have babies.
That's what I just said.
Oh.
I mean, look, I agree that you can change. Like, I know there are probably things that I could do better and I would get a better result. But my husband also has to do that. Because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result.
Exactly.
And he just keeps doing the same thing.
Right. I would say that's actually, but it takes, if you're on autopilot and you're going through your life just like being you, it is very hard to change. Even if you are in therapy twice a week, it is very hard to change. So you have to be mindful. You have to be thinking about these things all the time. And that's where I go back to, like, men are quick to say, oh, I'm really inundated at work, as sort of this get out of jail free card.
Right. Because they're paying for the party. So they are allowed to, in their minds, they are higher priority.
Right. But let's be clear. Like, a party doesn't just happen, because I can tell you.
Hey, Karma, record. Okay. Oh, still got it. Thanks.
So
we have to keep that. That was amazing, right?
That was amazing. But
that's my life.
Thanks for taking Heidi.
Yeah.
No, what I was saying is, I have tried to throw a lot of parties and they kind of stink. You throw amazing parties. So I think what our husbands all need to understand, and sorry, Doug, you married somebody who's not a great party planner.
You're great at a lot of other things.
It takes a lot of work in planning. So like when he's saying like, I'm the money that funds the party, you're the one actually making it a party.
Thank you. I agree. I'm making this house, if it were in Jeremy's control, would be piled with suitcases from business trips that he's never unpacked. It would be like,
well,
take out.
To me, like, that's really simple, because I think about my children. It's like, when I stopped doing their laundry, they figured out really quick how to do their own laundry.
Oh no, I think Jeremy would just get a new suitcase. He'd just keep buying suitcases.
But clothes, he'd have to keep buying.
I don't know. He would just figure it out. I think it would really take a while for him to then go, oh, They're all my clothes are in this suitcase,
Right.
in
I
the
don't
other
know.
suitcase.
People always say to me, I can't believe your boys do their own laundry. And I'm like, yeah, because I don't do it. So they have no
No,
choice.
you're a better mom.
No, it's not I'm a good mom. It's that I can go months without a
But
housekeeper because I'm not very good at the party planning.
right, well, I've gotten you better at that. I
Yes.
mean, look, our house, I take pride in the fact that Jeremy worked hard to pay for the things that we have in our home, and I care about it. And I think it's disrespectful to also him to treat the house like crap.
Totally.
So I and my kids treat it, not great, but I try to keep everything. And I know he values it in a way where I know he likes when I put holiday decorations up or I change this, and I know but you just don't get a lot of the great job.
Right. And I guess as humans, we want the validation. We want the praise. I'm like, I feel like I would work even if I didn't get a paycheck, so long as I was being praised. Because that's
Oh
actually
yeah,
quite
that's why.
important
I
to
mean, that's
me.
why I think social media is like such a fucking mind fuck for people, because there's definitely studies that show when you get a like or you get a view or you get something, you're getting a dopamine hit. I mean, there's definitely that sense of even us, like when we look at, we're like, oh my God, we've had 6,000 downloads or 7,000 downloads of the podcast. Like,
Those are real
yeah,
numbers.
they are real numbers and they're getting higher. So we know we have hate listeners, and hey, we love you too, because your listening is still helping us make money. So thank you. But what was
Wait, I have something actually deeper that I just
I
thought
love,
of.
of course, let's go intellectual, let's go cerebral.
When you say like he made the money and it'd be disrespectful not to take care of the house, I actually think when you get married,
It's our money.
it's our money.
Yeah,
So, and
sorry,
it's
you're right.
division of labor. So he could not be successful at work if you weren't making the trains run at home. So I actually think we need to banish this idea of like he pays for everything. I actually think like when Doug and I got married, it was one bank account. Everything went into the same place and that was it. I mean,
Yeah, and look, I think Jeremy is actually very good at not saying he would say it's ours.
of course. I'm saying you need to stop thinking of it that way because it's like one doesn't have to equal the other. It's about we have a pie of family life and we each own and take care of different parts of it. But
Yeah.
neither is better than the other and neither is more financially better than the other because the whole pie only works because we're both making it
I think
together.
that's just like something that will feel better when we get super rich from this podcast. I will feel more independent. But
well,
yes,
and I may have a separate bank account when this happens
I
because I've
mean,
learned a lot.
what's we've said this before. What's his is ours, and what's mine is mine.
What's his is mine and what's mine is mine.
Right. No, I was saying what's his is ours, like together.
Oh,
Like what Jeremy makes is ours. What I make is mine.
no, I'm saying what Doug makes is mine and what I make
Oh,
is
nice.
mine.
So Doug is poor, not zero.
My grandma taught me well.
I love you. I
You can
like
never
it.
be too rich or too thin, and what's his is yours, and what's yours is yours.
I love that. I mean, look, I think this is the complex of women working at home or primary caretakers. It is always going to feel, or maybe other women don't feel this inadequacy, but I think there is that power dynamic of whether the husband says it or not. My husband would never make me feel like he has the power because he makes the bacon, the turkey bacon, but it's my own issues. Like he doesn't make me feel that way. It's my
right,
own
that's
insecurity.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We've revealed a lot today on the couch. This was almost like a therapy session.
I loved it. I feel like we should call it something like like what are we? We're seeing red. I feel like a toddler saw red. Fed up Fridays because it's a Friday. I don't know. There's something here of like this, just sitting on the couch and doing what people used to do, which was go to their friend and like actually be real and authentic and talk to them.
I think that still happens, but I think sometimes people hold back.
People are so full of shit, Eva.
I know.
So
I
full of
continue to
shit.
believe in people.
No, the average person is insecure, inauthentic, and consumed with the wrong values, and thinks the world wants a version of them that's not true. Like, I think people want to see people for who they are. They don't care about all the bells and whistles. I mean, I just don't believe that. Or the people who do care about that aren't the good people.
Right. Well, I think that we're on a mission to make everybody feel better about themselves. I hope everyone can relate to this, maybe take some courage out into the world to be a little weird and different.
Yeah, and also be funny. Like, I'm sorry, I do have one, because I have standards. Like, I forget her, Fran Lebowitz, who I love, Lebowitz
love
or whatever,
her.
because she's fucking hilarious.
She is.
And she's just the biggest New Yorker. She's just like nuts. And she says you have to have standards and you have to be judgmental. Like, if you're not funny or you don't have a good sense of humor, never want to talk to you. I don't want to be around you, honestly. If you can't, like, if people listening to our podcast actually take everything we say and think we're either talking about them or insulted by stupid shit, like, fuck you. You're a moron. Like, it's humor. It's comedy.
Humor. This
like,
is comedy.
Get over it. Like, if you take something not seriously, I don't want to be friends with you.
I'm so glad we found each other, because I feel like there have been many times in my life where I've had to kind of make that speech in a apologetic way.
No, never. I'm so glad I found you. I feel like you were always this. It just, you had to.
No, I meant, like, I feel like I can be a bull in a china shop, or I have said things that have been a little like record stop, or then I feel badly, but I love how you're saying, like, it's all good. It's all good. And I always feel that way.
Them.
But then I realize that, like, not everyone's like us and people are sensitive, and I don't want anyone to feel bad.
It's not my problem.
Oh, see, I want everyone to leave me feeling good.
There's different things. If you say something that is really offensive or crosses the line or isn't making fun of yourself, like most of the things we're saying, we are self-deprecating, we're part of, right? If you're really taking it too far, which, like, Dave Chappelle does.
Take it too far.
We have never taken it that far.
I think Dave Chappelle's funny.
He is, but like sometimes, like, he'll take the stuff about Jews too far. Yeah. Like, it's really too far. That's different. That's when you need to apologize. Nothing we're doing is that upsetting. It should not be.
No, everything we're doing is about us.
Right. So the point is, like, if it's so benign, like, the only people who could be offended are our husbands. So if they're fine, then no one else has the right to be.
And by the way,
hurt.
Our husbands can't be offended either, because they married us.
Exactly. I don't know if they knew we were going to be microphoning and, podcasting about it. Speaking of airing of laundry,
I think we should just end on the note of appreciation, because I think we can manifest what we want and need from our husbands, and we should focus on the positives. And I think we should end by saying, we get it. Like, it's emasculating to be married to such strong, successful, amazingly soon to be rich women.
You're right. That's all it is. It's just their insecurity. They're so insecure because we are just so fucking hot, and, like, money is dripping off of us. Literally.
I just want to end with, I took Tracy this morning.
I'm so jealous. I had to walk the dog, feed the dog, pack my kids food for their 18th camp of the week, and make sure everybody was up and ready. So I had to miss that. But tell me more.
Feeling bad. I have 2 children at home, but I have much older children, so they were both sleeping, and they were still sleeping when I got home. But I will say, like, I was in there and I was just feeling the strength, feeling the joy. Like, thank you. Yeah, it was really,
it's the best workout.
It was an empowering morning, but it was really fucking hard, and I couldn't finish
Kristen's
it. And
amazing.
I can't do it again for a week. Oh, that's her name.
Yeah, you know what? I love
it. Was really hard.
But, like, there's something about connection with your body, meditating, and, I'm getting the wrap up sign from
We
Eva.
got to wrap, because the most important person in the world to me is my daughter, and I have a date with her, so I have to go.
That's so sweet. I thought I was the most important person in the world.
You are my most important non-family member.
Okay, because good, because I was about to get really sensitive on you.
You're like my
soul sister.
And I don't want to get yelled at.
I don't blame you, because I don't want to get yelled at for you.
But I think, like, this, we're just going to end by saying, like, June has sucked. It's been a tough year. We hope that everyone is hanging in there. We need to be, I think, unafraid about our needs.
Yeah.
I think we need to realize that
stand up for our needs.
Right. And what we do is as important as going to work. Like, there is no one pays the bills, one has the party. Like, everyone gets the party, and everyone contributes to how the party gets funded. Like, boom.
I love that. Boo. Yeah. And find out what plant you are. And you know what we're going to do for this next episode? I think we should make our husbands do it. We should do it. We should take that test of, like, what are your 5 love languages? because I don't know what mine's probably like fucking narcissist or something. You know, or spend 24 hours with me and tell me how fabulous and hot and beautiful I am.
Is there a moist love language?
I'm dead. I mean, super soaker. I'm a monsoon.
Oh my
No,
God.
quality time was mine. I took it. Which I'm clearly not getting enough QT.
Yeah. And like, you know what, husbands? Like, fucking get your heads out of the sand.
Yeah. Like, I'm right here.
Right. I think I haven't even taken it, but I think mine might be wait, isn't there a gift receiving one?
Yeah, but I think your acts of service, maybe. Like doing things for you. Like if somebody does the dishes for you or walks your dog for you. Like, no. Helps you out.
No, I'm very curious to take it.
You're definitely not physical touch. I feel like you'd be autistic. Like, don't touch you.
Yeah, I'm not physical touch.
You're not quality of time.
Do opposites attract?
Your words of affirmation.
I might be words of affirmation. Yeah. That's why Doug and I end up together. He's very affirming.
I know. I'm going to bring Doug to dinner parties and I'm going to have Doug send me a text like, "You're doing great, Caroline." Baby.
Love you.
Yeah. Eva says you're awesome. You're doing great. Maybe we should start an app where we like tell people like funny jokes or something. They can text us and we're like knock knock.
Like during the day, it's like a support group.
But it's just laughs.
You surprise and delight texts that just make you feel good and inspired.
Or
and
like
happy.
Not like bullshit Bené Brown stuff, like funny stuff. Like
definitely, I hate Bené Brown.
Like knock knock.
Who's there?
Wait, no, this was not a knock knock joke.
I have one for you. Knock knock.
Who's there?
Orange.
Orange who?
Aren't you glad to see me?
Yeah, that was a good one. I thought you were going to say something else. I have one ready. Why don't shrimp share?
They're too small.
Because they're shellfish. They're selfish, but they're shellfish. Isn't that funny? Or what do you call a guy with no arms or legs?
Caroline doesn't want to stop talking to me,
Matt.
but I'm really going to get in trouble. What do you? How do you get a boogie to dance?
No. How do you get a tissue to dance? Put a little boogie in it.
Like
and on that, we're going to mic drop.
Mic drop.
Good.
I think it was really good. But
okay. You know what? I think we're like getting.
Oh God, she texted me.